Hey y'all, Coach Christal here. Thank you so much for joining us. If you were privy to the client chat that we had a couple months ago, then you've met tons of our clients from all over the country. And if you're watching our client spotlights, you're also watching some of their dreams unfold. Today, I have the opportunity to sit down with Aysha Upchurch, who is one of the members of our mastermind. And I asked Aysha to actually come and help me with the project, which was about decluttering and organizing and really just clearing the space of my home so that I could get more focused and clear about the work that I'm doing. But I wanted to ask Aysha a couple of things today. One, Aysha, what made you join the Steps and Stages family?
I think it was like a lot of circumstances outside of my personal world, like the whole world, happening where now it feels like I can say it was so well timed. All the disorientation that I felt like, but coming out of the spring semester 2020 and realizing there's no classrooms, all the PD that I do, the travel, I was like, what am I doing? Like nothing's there. Who am I? I feel discombobulated. And I knew that I would see emails and postings and my mom was like, honey, you need some support. Like you really not that lost. You're just going through. And so I put my big girl undies on and sent a message. It's like, I want to know more about the Steps and Stages programming.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a couple things happening here, right? There's timing and then there's support. So every time that we find a discomfort, it may not be time to take a big step in growth, right? Sometimes it's just about figuring out why we feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And so, kudos to your mother for being like, you know what? I'm not the one this time, right? So one thing that I am really proud of in our community is that it's not just about me, right? We support each other.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about how, after you made that initial call, what your process has been like.
So I had the pleasure, yes, of doing one-on-one 6 weeks with you, beloved. And it took a minute for that to sink in and what you know and you knew what you knew. And then when it's time to check back in, I was like, I need more. And the time of isolation because of COVID, I was like, I also just was wanting to be with folks. And you're like, yo, I'm starting this, I think I have a group of people for you to do this programming with. So the next part and the community, to be with folks from different but sometimes parallel or similar worlds with very parallel challenges and opportunities, and getting the language and the tools at the same time has been the community is everything. I don't doubt that I would get something from having journeyed with you or on my own, but there was definitely a limit to that. And so it's been so good to just have some cousins in this work, some partners in believing who are using the same language, and we check in with each other.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that I just want to make clear for the people who are watching in our community, right? And I'm really clear about what that means. For me, community means a co-created group of people who have different skill sets that offer themselves fully for the growth of the people within the community, right? And so we don't have a community here where it's like, go onto the website, pay your money, welcome. We don't do that, right? These cohorts are curated by me, and if you don't come through this kind of conversation or kind of real deep vision conversation with me about where you want to do the work, then that's kind of how we figure out what stage of development you're in. So Aysha, just talk a little bit about the stages that you've gone through with Steps and Stages in terms of the different programs.
Well, the first step, I had to do it. So the first stage was the one-on-one, which I really love because I had a chance to get kind of something tailored, which was a little sample from a little bit of Dream Builder, a little bit of Christal, me and Christal. And then the next stage was the Life Mastery program, which was 6 months. Which is, all of this has taught me a whole new rationale around time and planning and investing in self. Because there's a lot you invite people to do for 6 months. And it's like, oh, what about what you got for like 2 hours? And I'm like, to me, it flew, but it was also so rich. And so out of that 6 months, the 5 of us who started that, because another cohort cycled in after 3 months, but those 5, we then went to the next stage, which was Into Your Genius. That was a beautiful transformation. I was like, thank you, translator, because I was gonna say it was a good butt kicking in a lot of ways. Just the books that came along with that, and the group of 5 of us realized that we really wanted and needed to keep checking in with each other in the in-between time when we had sessions with you, and so it almost felt like this other program that you also need to go through, but it's like just a natural community building. You're gonna find your little tribe. And so we did 4, 6, what is time? 6 months of Into Your Genius, and now the next stage is Masterminds. And I just checked my calendar because I'm a voracious note taker. I think that's an asset. Sometimes I'm worried that it's a little too much, but I noticed it was a year ago that the 5 of us started Life Mastery. And so it's been great to grow through with those 4 folks and the other, I think, 3 or 4 that came through Life Mastery. And so here we are in this new stage.
So all in all, Aysha, if you could point to one thing that you know has changed about Aysha through all of this work, through dream building, Life Mastery, Into Your Genius, being one of the inaugural mastermind of this community, what would you point to?
The language as this amazing tool framework that has infinite possibilities to push you forward. The way that I change how I talk about myself has like opened up this door to break up with ways that I would limit, this is just what I do. It's like all the little words, like the language has been super transformative, and sometimes it's a little bit of a gut punch because you realize how insidious it's been inserted into habits and patterns of how we talk about and limit ourselves and even our visions. And so that it's not like it's new vocabulary and language are not the same. Like, it's this empowered language tool to language as a verb, how you're transforming. Like, I can sense it, and it infects. I think that's a good infection. It infects every part of my life. Like, I'll try to be just talking with students at school about courses, and then boom, some crystalism or some language from this programming will come through, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's so helpful." I'm like, "I know, because it helped me."
Right. Because in this community, part of our foundation is that whatever we do has to have good in it for someone else besides ourselves, right? So, Aysha, what would you tell someone who is on the fence about investing in themselves, about what is coaching, about why should I do, about what is this thing that has the power to transform my life?
I'm trying to limit it to like one good, if I could change the world, this would be your key. It's my pageant response. But I've been an athlete my whole life, and so I think about this. I've never seen, and none of us have ever applauded an athlete who didn't have a coach or a system of coaches. And as they refined or developed a specialty within that sport, that coaching regimen had to change to get them where they needed to be. So you can self-educate. Like, I listen to all the Jim Rohns, Les Browns, and that still happens, but it's the coaching, it's the like when you can catch like, oh, Aysha, you need to step like this because that fits your gait. And so it's like you can't see from here. I can never see what you can see. And so I'm like, please catch what I can't catch. So for anybody who's like, coaching, is that just like I can read all the books? You can. I think there are some people who can kind of self-elevate and transform. But that's not everybody. And I think coaching is nothing more than having a support system to help you train how you're uniquely supposed to get to your goal.
Well, Aysha, it's a pleasure to be your coach. As someone who has been not only my client, but my colleague, and I would go so far as to say my friend. For you to trust me with your vision means a lot. And it's just an opportunity for all of us to grow together. So no one grows alone, y'all. We take these steps so we get to the next stages together. And if you're really interested in growing, think about who you need in your corner, what game you're playing. Do you know the rules, and who can really refine your true talents into the life you would love living? Talk to you soon.